friends. I saw that there was a new video posted on JWorg, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you. It's by Leonard and it's entitled Concern for One Another. The video talks about having compassion, but when you remove all of the twists and turns which are meant to confuse you, you see that there's truly a hidden agenda. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. So take a look.
But sadly, as the Watchtower once mentioned, the moral climate of our time has killed compassion in the hearts of so many. Some years ago in the Awake, in Italy, a 6-year-old girl and her father were driving to the beach. As they entered a tunnel, the father, who was only in his 30s, suddenly suffered a heart attack. Before he died, he told his little girl to find her way home. First, there are times when compassion should not be shown. For example, if someone deliberately persists in sin, it would be wrong to feel that we should compassionately shield them from discipline.
Okay, so now this is where the video turns to its sinister agenda. I cut a lot out of this, so by all means, if you'd like to see the entire video, it's in the What's New section of JW.org. So let me show you.
Let's notice an example in ancient Israel. Please turn with me to Deuteronomy chapter 13. You look in verse 6. The Israelites were commanded that if a brother, child, well, you notice there are some expressions such as cherished wife. You notice there are some expressions such as cherished wife or closest companion. If any of those were to urge a person to serve other gods, notice the instruction in verse 8. You must not give in to him or listen to him, nor should you show pity or feel compassion or protect him. Instead, you should kill him without fail. So it was for protection for the nation. If someone tried to turn an Israelite from serving Jehovah, that was not the time to show compassion.
Okay, so you heard it. According to this guy, he is leading his viewers to believe that Deuteronomy 13:6 allows for a brother, a son, or a cherished wife to be killed if they turn away from serving Jehovah, or basically serving the Jehovah's Witness organization. Well, let's put this verse into context. Just a few short verses prior to this, in chapter 12, verse 31, we read this: Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hates have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. Notice in the picture there, the two children looking up. Also, down below, the men beating the drums. You'll see on the left the trumpets blowing, and then you'll see the child going to the fire of Moloch with the fire coming out of its head. Friends, the pagans during this time, they worshipped the god Molech, and they sacrificed their children to this God. This is why the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the true God of the Bible, wiped them out. Not because he's a bloodthirsty God, which so many people claim, but because he's a righteous judge. He does not believe nor require child sacrifice. But his people turned from worshiping him to worshiping these false gods. And that's why he took action, because he's a righteous judge. The reason I pointed out them beating the drums and blowing the horns was to drown out the screams of the children who were placed alive on this bronze statue, which basically was a furnace. Here is a bronze statue of him in a museum in Italy. But listen, this is what the verse is saying. Don't have compassion for the ones who left Israel and started sacrificing their children to these gods, because God is a righteous judge and was going to wipe them out, which he did. It has nothing to do with people leaving the Jehovah's Witness organization, friends. It has nothing to do with killing a cherished wife. Friends, we've all read stories, news stories, heard stories of Jehovah's Witness suicides, Jehovah's Witness killing their families. And It's talks like these that fuel these fires. I cannot even imagine what impact talks like these have on indoctrinated witnesses who are struggling with having to survive Armageddon and all of the other propaganda that they are being fed through this organization.
Exodus chapter 3. While tending to his father-in-law's sheep, Moses saw a thorn bush on fire, but it wasn't being consumed. By means of an angel, Jehovah spoke to Moses from the midst of the fire, and notice what he said in verse 5. Do not come any nearer. Remove your sandals from your feet, because the place where you are standing is holy ground. So just think, because the holy God was present representatively, the ground itself became holy.
All right, so Leonard here claims that Jehovah spoke to Moses by means of an angel, and I just have to include this because I included these scriptures in another video that I had done recently, and I just want to show you. Up at the top is the King James version of Exodus chapter 3, verses 4 through 6, and I'm going to read this to you. And when the Lord saw that he had turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not near, put off your shoes from off your feet, for the place wherein you stand is holy ground. Look at verse 6. Moreover, he said, who? God, because God was speaking to Moses out of the midst of the bush in verse 4. So verse 6, moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Who was in the bush? God was in the bush. Down at the bottom is the New World Translation. If you look at verse 6, which is underlined towards the bottom, it says basically the same thing. Yet Leonard here is leading you to believe that this is an angel here speaking to Moses when it wasn't. Jesus was in the bush, friends. You got to read the account.
So Jehovah wasn't blind to the misery of his people. He wasn't deaf to their cries for help. Their anguish became his own.
The God of Watchtower knows no anguish. When did Jehovah ever feel anguish for his witnesses who were slaving for him, who were giving up their careers, giving up their jobs, not having children? When did he ever anguish for his people? Jesus anguished when he was tortured and murdered for the sins of the people. Jesus is the one who experienced anguish, friends.
One sister who struggled with depression and discouragement found comfort in this account about Moses and the thorn bush. The sister said, if Jehovah can make even the dirt holy, then maybe there's a little hope for me. Maybe there's a little hope for me. So whether at home, in the congregation, at Bethel, on construction sites, wherever we may be, let's allow love, this unselfish love of neighbor, to cause us to show compassion. A second way that love can help us to be compassionate is that it will help us to avoid the imperfect tendency to abuse power. The Watchtower once made this point about that verse. Efficiency should not be an excuse for treating people as mere parts of a machine. Good points to keep in mind. So while the moral climate has killed compassion in the hearts of so many today, rather we want to imitate Jehovah and kindly act on our feelings of compassion for those in need.
So we want to imitate Jehovah? You mean in killing people, cherished wife, son, a brother, a close friend, if they leave Jehovah? Is that what we are to imitate? Were these talks always this bad? I mean, I don't remember this kind of dangerous counsel when I was a Jehovah's Witness, but maybe it's just because I was tuning it all out, and I'm so grateful for that. But it's pretty bad, friends. This counsel is getting really, really bad. We really need to pray for the rank and file Jehovah's Witness. I've said this before that I'm not against the rank and file Jehovah's Witness. I have compassion for them. It's this organization, this death cult that we were a part of that is leading these people to destruction. Their language is so sinister and macabre. We need to pray that they can leave this organization and step into the light of Jesus Christ, who offers salvation as a free gift. That's it, friends. I just wanted to point this out to you. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Happy New Year. And let's make 2021 a great new year where we are going to renew our minds, no longer let the indoctrination of the Watchtower Corporation control us. And let's move forward, stepping into the light of Christ, friends. Let's do it together. Thanks for watching and have a great day.